Whether you're a new investor, whether you're in college, or whether you are a teenager that's just even thinking about investing, in this video right here, I'm gonna talk about a stock that you're probably gonna gravitate to. And I know without a doubt, because you're gonna gravitate to this stock, you may as well own this stock. Now, at the end of this video, I'm gonna tell you what prices I think you should go crazy when you see a stock at this price. It's definitely flashing an alert for us, and we truly need to pay attention to it. Before we get into the video, I want you to like and subscribe. I want you to share this video. I promise you this is going to be one of them ones. It's your boy, the Wall Street Trap, and my goal is to help you change your life and buy back your freedom in the market. Let's go. All right, man, so I'm sitting in front of the chart so I can really just look at this stock, right? But before we get into it, I want to say something, right? Let's just talk about the numbers. The stock we're going to talk about is Robinhood. That's right. There was a point in time where I felt like we saw the pressure it was putting on new companies because of it was doing the, no cost to trade, right? And so over time, the company has actually evolved. Now, of course, we ain't going to forget what you did, people, in the pandemic, man. But let bygones be bygones. What I had to say is, like, the company right now has 25.9 million users across all countries in their platform. That's phenomenal, right? They're managing $255 billion in assets. That's crazy, right? They reported 26.5 million funded accounts. And also, they are doubling that with assets because they're going to have 279 billion in assets. That's almost 10-year jump year over year. That's crazy. For a company to jump 10% year over year is phenomenal, right? Now, watch this. This is where it really gets good. The average customer has over $10,000 in assets in Robinhood. Now, that is crazy because 2 years ago when I talked about this, the average person had $3,500 in assets, which means to us that which shows me that people are consistently investing. The thing about Robinhood is they target a certain demographic. Anywhere between the ages of 18 and 32 is the demographic that they like. Now, the thing about that is because those people typically will shy away from a TD Ameritrade, a E-Trade, a Charles Schwab. That demographic probably gonna go to Webull, probably gonna go to Robinhood. Robinhood is a more gamified setup, which is what people probably gonna go to. Now, let's go a little further. The revenue exploded to $989 million in Q2 of 2025. That's crazy. Why? They almost had $1 billion in revenue in one quarter. I want you to understand the company is consistently growing. They're rolling out things like the 401k. They're rolling out things like more charting features. They're rolling out things with like 4% APR. The Gold subscription is the one that they have paid. It has 3.5 million users, right? So they're expanding in so many different ways, right? And I'm just looking at it like, yo, I see what they're doing here. Right, the stock is up 170% year to date. That means the stock is performing. So I'm gonna give you some numbers today, and I'm gonna break down like where you should buy it at. I think where we see the stock is pulling back a little bit right now. All-time highs at $117. Right, its stock is right now at the time of the video about $104, making it down about 2% almost, which is good because that means that it's just taking a break. Right, even in the next quarter, we're gonna see people use more. Right now, watch this. I wrote this down. This is really good. The company is also thinking about expanding into wealth management and going more into the European demographic. So now they tapping into eToro, which is a company that just went public not long ago. Robinhood is going to tap into that. And why I think they're going to win is simply because it is a gamified platform. You don't have to worry about it. It's buy and sell. It's trade. Right? So they're like, yo, you might leave us by the time you're 35 and go somewhere else. Right? And I even did another stat that said they now have people on Robinhood with $1 million in their brokerage. That is crazy. So the average user right now is age 35, but the platform still skews, watch this, 50% millennials, 25% Gen Z, and 20% Gen X. That's their demographic, 18 to 35, y'all. That's where they at. Their mission, they say their mission is to democratize wealth building, right? Meaning make it a game where everybody can play. Now, when you think about companies like Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan, the big banks, they don't necessarily cater toward the newer users. They kind of look down on them, right? And so Robinhood is like, yo, guess what? We gon' be the company that the new users come to. That's the market going off right there, right? Right. Another catalyst is, watch this. Bank of America raised their price target on Robinhood, right? Because the desktop platform also started integrating the AI support. Not as big, because one of my things I've always said is Robinhood doesn't have no type of support team, so it makes it really, really hard to do your research over there. Now, if I'm looking at the charts, here's what I want to tell you based on the charts, based on looking at the charts, and I wrote this down, I'm looking at it right here, right? If we go to the 1 hour chart on Robinhood, one of the things I'm saying that I like to see on this is, again, it is at an all-time high. I mean, the all-time high was at 117.64, right? And then it came all the way down to about 101.29. So the stock is currently at 104.36. I truly think that 101.29 is a great buying point, because that is a base. Because the upward move that it made from 101.41, it made a stop at 107, created a higher low. I mean, a higher high, but still is a lower high in the overall trend. And then it created another higher high at 110.58. Not mad at that. But then it started coming back down. I'm not mad at that, because then that means that just gave us a lower high, and then it gave us a lower high at 108. So I like that. So the stock is currently in a downtrend, right, based on coming off its all-time high, right? But we know that happens. If you look on a 4 hour, you'll see that it had a double top, which means it hit, rejected, hit, rejected. We see that. We got two lower highs in play, higher lows in play right there, is what we expect. So I truly think if we can get it at, I truly think that is at 104.29 right now. I think 101.29 is a great price to get Robinhood at. 101.29, right? And I got that wrote down, 101.29. And then if it falls a little more, because we're going into September, I think the perfect price, if it gets down to 97.76, so 101.29, if it hits that, perfect price. And if we get it again, if it comes even further, 97.76. So 97.76, and then 101.29. Based on a 1 hour chart, because that's what I like to use to execute my plays. You can also use your technical analysis as an entry point. For me, you know, I like to use the fundamentals when it comes to discount pricing. So I definitely think that's a good spot for us to get in that. Those are two great spots for us to get in that. Yep. 101.29 and 97.76 are great spots for you to get into Robinhood. Now, you got to think about what makes them such a great company. Zero commissions. They now got into crypto. They've got into trading. They got into predictions. The younger age is their base. They got quick features. They're really setting themselves up. Now, again, I personally believe that a person, like, as you get older, you want to get into some platforms that have more stability, some platforms that have customer support that you can call on. But Robinhood has definitely put themselves in a situation where they're like, hey, this the demographic we going after. So I truly think that a stock like this, you should buy as much as you can if it hit these prices, right? If it hits that 101.29, you should start a position. We go down to that 97.76. I think you should buy as much as you can. And the reason why I say that, you got to think about it. The stock is up 170% year to date, which means there's going to be some profit taking probabilities for us. There's going to be some situations where the stock pulled back, but it's still, we still can see that this is a stock that is loved, and it only went down because it hit its all-time high at 117. And I think that as investors, you don't have to chase it at a high like that, right? You let those stocks pull back. You let those stocks pull back. You let those stocks take a breather. And that's when we execute. Again, the stock is down about 1.5% on a week, which is good, because that means it's just taking a breather. Truth is going to come back up. And then I will say this, once the stock gets to about 110, it have now overtaken that last higher, lower high. Once the sellers step up and take that over, it's a done deal. It's back to blue skies, right? So I think that we watching that, we get back on top of 110. Here's the price, y'all. Once Robinhood gets back on top of 110.81, now we gave you the high and the low, right? It gets back on top of 110.81. The buyers have now stepped in and claimed ownership. And I think from there, we go back to all-time highs of 117, right? So there we go. On the downside, what are we looking for? Downside, we're looking for 101.29 on the downside. Stock price is currently 104. So 101.29 downside, that's when we look to get in. If it falls a little bit further, we're looking at 97.76. Those are my two prices at the bottom. I want to buy Robinhood at, right? 101.29 and 97.76. Now, if you want to be a little jazzy, I'll be honest with you. Once you hit that 101.29 and it gets right back on top of 104 again, it's time for you can now put some calls in. You're not gonna put some 2026 calls in. I will, if I'm you, it gets back on top of 104. If it comes down to 101 and then jumps back on top of 104, which is where it found some resistance at, gets back on top of 104. Right now on the 1 hour, we see what's called crow's foot. We see those 3 red candles going down. We get back on top of 104. If it comes down to 101, it get back on top of 104, which is good. I think you put in a 115 call, you stretch it out to 2026, middle 2026, you're good, right? You're good, right? Because now the buyers have taken control. We know that the last 3 months of the year, that October, November, December, are uptrends. So I think if you wait till September, we'll get into September, you'll see that fall a little bit. And if once that happens, we really ready to strike. You know what I'm saying? So it's your boy, the Wall Street Trapper, man. I hope you got some value out of this video. I hope I helped you out, especially when it comes to Robinhood. That's the one, man. I think Robinhood hits this price, you buy much as you can. 101.29. 97.76. Those are the two prices that we looking for. We get there, we load the boat on Robinhood, and we back to blue sky territories. Comment in the chat. Let me know what you think about this. Let me know any questions you have about investing in the market. Let us know in the chat so we can make content specifically for you. Listen to me, y'all. The more you like this, the more we can get inside of the algorithm. The more we can push this message out. Listen, I want y'all to understand something, man. Wall Street looks like us now. Let's go.